I was here the last session too, but I didn't talk.
I was going to say something in Russian.
No. I'm Canadian.
Okay.
Superman.
Do you know Canadian?
Hey, Superman, right? right. Right, can we call you Superman?
Why?
No, because his characteristics match the character.
Sir, should we leave now?
No.
It didn't even start it.
Because the class starts at 5.
You have 1 minute.
It's just 1 minute left.
Okay, I can do lots of
Hello?
things in
Oh,
1
Sir,
minute.
Mr.
it's
Wall.
5.
Wall.
Let's start.
Or he'll leave
Stop.
and come back in
Fine,
1
it's
minute.
I
Who
want
is
all
a
of you
shaky
to
cat?
mute your microphone, please.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start. As you all know, my name is Matt. I'm your math teacher, and today we are going to cover quadratics, and also after that, probability.
Sir, can you speak louder? We can't hear you.
Really?
Yeah, sir, can you speak louder to the microphone?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay. So, as you all know, my name is Mayep. I'm your math teacher, and today we are going to discuss about quadratics and also probability. Okay. So, first of all, I want to tell you why this is more beneficial than the videos which is on Khan Academy and also on YouTube. You can still watch videos about quadratics, I mean probability. Those guys, I mean, they are speaking much better than me. Their English is much better. I mean, their tactics is much better. So why you should watch this instead of those videos? So what I do is I collect all the materials which is in the real test on Khan Academy and the maybe question from last year and also the questions which was in March examination. So this way, I mean, I'm combining all those sources together and give you something which is a combination of all of them. I mean, the videos, the questions from last year, and also from different sources, books maybe, and also maybe different sites, channels maybe. Okay, let's start. First, I will make an introduction with quadratics. I'll give you the basic information about quadratics, what quadratics are, and we will solve some questions after that. Okay, let's clean this. I will record this video, this session, and I will put it on the group. You can watch it later, okay? You need not to maybe take all the notes. You can watch it later. I'm going to clean it, so. Quadratics. So, what is quadratics? Why do we have such thing in SAT? If a topic in math is in SAT, that means we will use it in our life. It's really important. For example, probability, statistics, these are really important. If you're going to be an engineer or maybe economist, you'll use it. You will use quadratics, you'll use statistics, you'll use probability. So your life is dependent on them. So let's start with quadratics, what quadratics are. So if we have a function fx is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, this is quadratics, okay? So the word quad stands for 4, okay, for 4. But now, as you can see, the power of x, the biggest power of x is 2. So if we have a function which the power of x, not power of x, the power of the variable, as you can see, our variable is x. For example, we can have fy is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c.
Why?
Where is the variable?
Y squared.
AY, sir.
Yeah,
AY.
sure. So this is a constant function, as you can see. we don't have variable here. Our
Yeah.
variable is y, right?
Yes.
Can you mute it, please?
Okay.
Our variable is y. We don't have such variable here, so this function is not quadratic. Okay, this is not quadratic, so we cannot call this as quadratic function. Our variable, we look at the variable, which is x. If the biggest power of x is 2, we call this quadratics. Okay, so what does these numbers, these letters mean? I mean, C stands for constant, B for the coefficient of x, and A is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so let's start with C. What does C means? C, or constant, or y-interception. Y-interception. Okay. For example, I will draw my xy plane here. This is x-axis. This is y-axis. If we have a maybe graph like this, parabola, okay, all quadratics, all these functions represents a parabola. Okay, a parabola. If the power of x is 2, then we will have a parabola. Okay, let's say we have a parabola like this. Not like this, maybe. Like this, okay? C stands for y-interception, okay? This y-intercept is here, this point. Y-intercept is this point, okay? This point. If C is, for example, 6, then it means this point is 6. From here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This point is 6. And what does A stands for? A is the coefficient of x squared, okay? A defines the shape of the parabola, okay? If A is positive, then we will have a parabola like this. Like this, for example. The face is up, okay? It's looking upward. If A is negative, then it means our parabola should be looking like this, okay? It's always decreasing, as you can see, decreasing. So if A is negative, we have one maximum point, okay? This is maximum point. Call this vertex, okay? And if A is positive, we have one minimum point, okay? We call this vertex as well. These are vertices, okay? These are vertices. So if A is positive, we have one minimum point. We don't have maximum point, okay? As you can see, it goes to infinity. So we don't have such a maximum point of this parabola. We can't find this. It's always, I mean, it goes to infinity. So maximum point of this parabola is infinity. But we do have minimum point here. If A is negative,
Sir, we
can you
have
mute it, please?
sir the other one
Can you
also.
mute it, please? I'll give you time. Once I'm done with this board, before cleaning, I will let you ask your questions. So this is the minimum point, and this is the maximum point. If A is negative, and it means we don't have a minimum point for if A is negative. If A is negative, then it means we will have function like this, for example, fx is equals to, for example, minus 2x squared plus 6x minus 5, for example. As you can see, the coefficient of x squared, which is a is negative. Then it means parabola should be like this. Okay. Any question now? I'll clean this.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What's the formula for finding the vertex?
Yeah, I will give you a formula for finding the vertex. There's a really complicated formula for finding the vertex in your book, in Panda book. I think that's unnecessary to memorize. Okay, I will give you a much simpler way.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Sir, you have said there is no we don't have maximum parabola point, right? You said maximum vertex.
Yeah, if A is
right?
negative. Yeah,
Mr.
if A is negative.
In the equation you have stated here fx equal minus 2x squared plus 6 minus 3 minus 5, right?
Yes.
This one, sir, is if the start is from minus 2, it means it's maximum or minimum?
As you can see, no. A represents the coefficient of x squared. If A is negative, if the coefficient of x squared is negative, then it means our parabola is like this. If
Okay,
our
Mr.
parabola is like this, then it means we have one maximum point and we don't have any minimum point. Okay, it goes infinity.
Yes, sir. And if the question is only 2 by itself, then we have a minimum parabola, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
If our function is like this, for example, 2x squared
2x. Yeah, then we
plus
have a minimum.
6x plus 5. So our parabola will be like this. And it
Yeah,
means we have one minimum and we don't have maximum point.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any question? Yes. I'm going to wait for 5 seconds. 1, 2. Okay, no questions. Then I'll clean this. Okay.
Teacher, it's very hard not to talk.
Not to talk.
Yeah, it's very hard. Like in the class, I'm talking all the time and it's very hard.
For Alicina, it's not hard.
What?
For Alicina, it's not hard.
I don't know. For me, it's very hard.
Okay.
Who is this speaking?
At
New
the beginning,
students?
it's a bit hard. Maybe after that, it will be much fluent, much easier for
I
you.
hope so.
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay. So you know what A represents, what C represents. So B is not that important. Okay, we don't have a maybe different information about B. If what does B represents, or if B is negative or positive, will it change something about the shape of the parabola? No, we don't have any information about that. So it can vary. But A is important and C is important. Okay, we can directly know what type of parabola we are dealing with if a function is given by looking at A and C. So finding the vertex. First of all, no, wait, we have to go in order. First,
So sorry.
Sorry for what?
Abu is trying to talk, but he can't talk. I think there is a problem with his microphone.
Who?
Abu.
Abu should delete the application, then reinstall it. I think it'll work.
Okay, I'm telling him that.
No,
I
don't
think-
delete. Just refresh your account. Refresh your what is it called? Program. That's it. The app.
So I can't. Okay, I will tell him.
Okay. And first of all, let's talk about roots. Roots of parabola. Let's say if we have a function like this, fx is equals to x squared plus 2x plus 1. What does roots mean? If we draw this parabola, it will be something like this. Okay?
Roots.
-1, it means it should be something like this. Okay. So what does root means? Root means the intersection with x-axis. Okay. So if we have a parabola like this, it means we have two roots, two intersection with x-axis. If we have something like this, for example, there's no intersection with x-axis. This is x-axis. There's no intersection between them, so there's no root. For example, x squared plus 1. Does it have any root? Can you make this equal to 0? If you put any value, would it make it 0? No. This is, this parabola does not have any root. That means it doesn't have any intersection with x-axis. Root means intersection with x-axis. Let me write it here. Intersection with x-axis. Okay. So let's solve some simple examples about this. For example, this one. In order to find the roots, we have to make this a complete square. How can we make this? As you all know from law of exponents, we can write it like this: x and x, 1 and 1. So if I cross product sum it will be 2x. Then it will be plus and plus. If I multiply it, it will give me this one. And if I multiply these, it will give me this one. So fx will be x squared, x plus 1 all squared. So now I can find the roots. How can I find the roots? I make my fx or my function equal to 0. That way I can find my roots. So x squared, x plus 1 all squared is equal to 0. How this is 0? I can take the square root of both sides. Square root of 0 is 0. This is cancelled. X plus 1 is equals to 0, and x is equals to minus 1. That means we have only one root. Only one root. Okay. If I found two x's, I mean x1 and x2, for example, like this, x squared minus 1 is equals to 0. X is equals to x squared is equals to 1. X will be 1. X will and also x will be minus 1. If we have two roots, that means we have two intersections. If we have one solution or one x value, then it means we have one intersection with x-axis. So let me clean this. This is extra information, by the way, not related with the question. So we have one x. That means we have one root. So our fx should be looking like this: one intersection. Okay, one intersection. So that's all about roots. We will solve some questions about roots. And now let's talk about summation and also notation or product of roots. There are some formula you have to memorize now. For example, fx is equals to, let's say, 3x squared plus 5x minus 10. So this is really hard. I mean, some questions will be something like this. It asks find the summation of these roots. So if you
minus b over a.
Mister,
where
Mister,
yes,
can you hear me now?
yeah, of course I can.
Okay.
Can you mute it, please?
Muted.
Okay. And what was your question? Someone asked something. If it's a or what? Okay, no problem. So
He said the vertex point.
yeah, we will talk about vertex afterwards.
Minus b over 2a.
So if you somehow make it a complete square like this, something like this, if you make it somehow, maybe it's impossible. You have to use the discriminant. We'll talk about discriminant later. Okay. Now it asks. You will find after doing the complete square, you'll find x1, the value of x1, and the value of x2. Okay. The question says find x1 plus x2. Okay. How can you find this? It is equals to, if we generalize this from here, it will be minus b over a. And x1 times x2 will be c over a. The constant, this is the constant, over the coefficient of x squared. So this is the formula. Okay. This is formula. Do you have any question? I will clean this board.
Sir,
Yes.
why did you say fx equal 3x squared plus 5x minus 10 is hard to solve?
I mean, you can just make it a complete square like this. Okay, this is a bit hard. Just try. Let's try 3x and x, 5 and 2. It's a bit hard. I mean, you can't find this. We have some familiar. I mean, these are just simple.
Should use delta.
Yeah, discriminant. We call that discriminant. We will talk about that later. Okay. For now, if you practice enough, you will know this function is can be made like this, or can be converted into complete square or not. If you practice a lot, I mean, if you know enough about the functions. So, do you have any question? Any other?
Teacher,
Yes.
Why you said that A and C are important to know how the quadratics is?
Yes, these will shape the parabola. Okay, these have more effect than B. B have less effect on changing the shape of the parabola. For example, if A is positive, it will be upward. If A is negative, it will be downward. And C decides where the parabola intersects, as you can see, intersects with the y-axis. As you can see, we have an intersection here and here. So it says where the parabola intersects with y-axis, and A decides whether the parabola is up or downward, and B is somehow less important. Okay. Yeah. Any
Okay.
more questions? Anyone? Azal, do you have any question?
No, teacher. How are
No.
you?
Okay.
Mister, what is
I
this
will-
fake smile? Always you laugh like this fake laugh.
This is not fake laugh. This is laughing from bottom of my heart, maybe.
Bottom of your heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teacher, how are you?
Okay. Enough.
Sir, give an
Uh,
laugh.
It was a question.
can you mute it, please? Okay. So we talked about the summation and also product. Let me write it here. Product or productation. Okay. This is maybe not true, but this is equals to notation. We call this notation. Notation. Okay. Notation. And also is symbolized with pi. Okay, pi. For example, if the question says, what is pi x? Then it means x1 times x2 is equals to what? Okay, notation, it means production. Product of those answers of x's, different values of x's. Okay, we symbolize it with pi. And sum or summation. Summation is symbolized with sigma. We call this sigma x. Okay, sigma x means basically x1 plus x2. Okay, it's equals to 1, for example. Sigma means summation of them, and pi means notation of them, or product of them. Okay, and let's talk about vertex now. Let's clean it here. Vertex. What does vertex is super important? Okay, you will deal it with for example, if you are calculating the strength of steel, for example, or material, so the vertex is really important, super important. For example, I'll give you a simple example to get to know the quadratics much better. For example, let's say this is pressure, okay, and this is maybe stress, okay, stress on object, stress. As pressure goes up, the stress also goes up. At some point, the material will bend or break down. So it will be like this. It will go down. The stress goes down. As the pressure goes like this, or if the pressure increases, the stress will be increasing as well. At some point, the material will break down or bend like steel. So you will deal with this. This is vertex, okay? This is the defining moment. After this, it goes down. We call this vertex, okay? This is maybe a simple example about quadratics. That's why the vertexes are really important. You'll deal with it all 4 years of your engineering.
Teacher,
Yes.
what is stress?
Stress. Wait. Stress is defined by pressure divided by area. Okay, let's say we have a plane like this. We have pressure, lots of pressure here. How many, pressure per unit area, we can say. Stress is equal to pressure per unit area. Okay, that's what we call stress. And stress is defined by sigma. Okay, any question? Can you unmute people here?
Sir, stress is defined
Yes.
by what?
Wait. Can you unmute all of them, please? Okay. Stress is defined by. Maybe I should mute them. Stress is defined by pressure per unit area. For example, in 1 meter square area, how much pressure we have. So that's called pressure. It's really not important here. Extra information for you. You do not need to know about more stress. So we talked about summation and product, and also now vertex. I told you about the importance of vertex. It's super important. And now, how can we find vertex? There is a really complicated and also really hard to memorize method in your book, in Panda book. But I know a super easy way. How? For example, let's say we have fx is equals to 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. As you can see, this parabola should be looking like this. Am I right? Because the coefficient of x squared, as you can see here, is positive. It means we have one minimum point here, one minimum point. How can we find that minimum point? If it's a xy plane, it has x coordinate and also y coordinate. How can we find x? How can we find y? So first of all, I want to make a introduction with a derivative. Okay, what derivative is? It's a really quick introduction. Derivative. Let's say if our function is fx is equals to 3x squared plus 2x plus 5. Okay. Taking derivative means that. Taking derivative means that, for example, f prime x, it means derivative of fx. We take the power, this power here, multiply with this one, with the coefficient, which will be 6, and subtract 1 from the power, okay, which will be x, plus. Now here we have 1, right, as power. We multiply with 2, which will be 2. We subtract 1 from the power, which will be x to the power of 0. Am I right? So it will be 1. X to the power of 0 is 1. Plus. Here we have x to the power of 0. Okay, we don't know that. I mean, it's hidden, but it is there. So if I multiply 0 with 5, it will be 0. So no need to write. The derivative of constant numbers are 0. So simply we have f prime x is equals to 6x plus 2. That is the derivative, the general introduction of derivative. Let's solve some more examples about derivative. For example, fx is equals to, I can write it with this one, minus 2x to the power of 4x minus 5x x to the power of minus 1. What is derivative of fx, we apply the same formula here. So it will be, I multiply 4 with 2, it will be minus 8. And I subtract 1, so it will be x to the power of 3 minus, here I have 1, I multiply with negative 5, so it will be positive 5. I subtract 1, so it will be x to the power of minus 2. It was minus 1, I subtracted 1, it will be minus 2. So this is the general introduction and general way how to take a derivative of a function, okay?
Teacher,
So, yes,
can you write its formula to be more easy?
yeah, of course. Let's say our function is fx is equals to x to the power of n. Our f prime x, it means first derivative of fx is equals to a times n times x to the power of n minus 1. I apply the same formula here. I applied the same formula that we applied here. Okay. I took the power, I multiplied with the coefficient, and I subtracted 1. That's it. I took the power, multiplied with the coefficient, and I subtracted 1. That's it. That's the general introduction with derivative. That's the
Sir,
general formula. Yes.
are you going to use derivative in SAT? I mean, is it important?
I mean, if you know derivative, it will be much easier for you to solve some questions, but it's not really necessary. I mean, if you know derivatives, you can solve questions that could be solved for 1 minute, and you can solve it with 10 seconds. Okay.
Okay,
It will
sir.
save some time.
That's good, sir.
I mean, you need time in SAT examination. That's why
Absolutely.
derivative, the things that I'm explaining will make your work much easier. Okay, I'm going to clean it. Do you have any question about derivative?
No.
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Yes.
Can you show us how we gonna face it in the exam and how we are going to solve it? You
Sure,
said that we are.
Sure.
Yes?
Yeah, of course I will. Any more question?
Nope.
Yes, Mister.
Yes.
For the vertex, you said there's 2 ways to find it. Then you just change the topic. You went to derivative. So what's happening now?
You would use derivative to find vertex. Okay.
So that was the first step, right? The first general
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
So you're now showing the second way, right?
The second way is much harder and also confusing. I will not explain that. It
Sir,
will
I
make
think
you
the book one, sir, the one the book explains is much easier. I think.
Okay, I will teach you. You will decide after that. Okay.
So
Yes. Any question? No. Okay, I will clean it then.
No. Mm. Oh, yeah.
So
can you mute?
how please. So how can we find the vertex of this one? Take derivative of this one. So what will be the derivative of fx? It will be take 2 multiply with 4. It will be 8. 8x plus 8 plus 0. What? Because the derivative of constant numbers are 0. And when you take the derivative of function, make it equal to 0. Then you will find x equals to minus 1. Okay. That easy. You take derivative, make it equal to 0. You find value of x. That means this value is minus 1. In order to find y,
Teacher,
yes.
can you repeat, please? I didn't hear the last part.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, mute.
To find the vertex of a function, you take a derivative of it. Derivative of fx is, you have 2 here, right? Multiply with 4, so it will be 8.
8.
And take 1 from 2, it will be 1. X to the power of 1. Am I right? Plus, there is 1 here. You multiply it with 8, it will be 8. Then subtract it from 1. From 1, it will be 0. X to the power of 0 is 1, so it will be 8. But the derivative of constant is 0, so you will not write it. When you take the derivative of it, you make it equal to 0. When you make it equal to 0, you will find a value. X will be equals to -1. Okay, you'll find this value. That means this is the value of this x1. Okay, then after finding x, you will find y. How can you find y? You put this value, okay, this value, inside this function. Okay, inside this function, the first function, not the derivative one. Okay, the first function. Then you will find what? F -1 will be equals to 4 minus 1 to the power of 2 plus 8 times -1 plus 4. So it will be 4 plus, sorry, not plus, -8 plus 4. So it will be equal to 0. Am I right? So that means y is equals to 0 and x is equals to what? -1. That means, let me clean it here. That means our parabola is x is -1. That means it's here. And y is 0. Y is 0. So our parabola is like this. The minimum point is located here. That's how we find it. Take the derivative, make it equal to 0. You find the value of x, then put the value of x inside the fx. Then you'll find y. You find y,
Okay.
you find x. Then you draw the parabola. Yeah, any question now?
Sir, for the first one, when you said let x plus 8 equals 0, how did you get -1?
8x plus 8 is equals to 0.
Yeah.
8x is equals to -8. Divide by 8. X is equals to -1.
You divide both of them to the self,
Yeah.
right?
Teacher,
Shame,
Yeah.
shame.
how do you find that like y is equal to 0?
I put the value, this value of fx, x that I found after taking derivative of fx, make it equal to 0. I put the value of x inside the first function. I put it here. I put x -1 here and here. Then I found this, as you can see. Then f -1 was equals to what? 0.
Teacher, there's another way to find the vertex, like when the function is not in original like shape. There's another
Yeah.
way. I don't remember that.
It should be something like this. X is equals to -b over 2a, right?
No, not like that. Like directly you say that okay, it's the vertex. I don't remember how it was, but like I don't remember. There was another way to find the vertex.
Okay, there is another way, this way. X is equals to -b over 2a. I can find this value of x using this formula. -b, which is -8 over 2a. It means 2 times 4 is 8, is equals to -1.
Same
It's
thing,
much
right?
easier. Yeah, the same thing. But taking derivative is much good for you because derivative, the definition of derivative means finding a slope of particular place in the graph. Okay, so you will use it in mathematics level 2, and if you're going to study engineering, you will use it there. So if it's good to deal with derivative much more than formula. You'll forget this formula. Okay, that's why I didn't teach you with formula. I teach you with the much simpler way, and also the way that you will use it throughout your maybe education life. do you have any question now? I will clean
Sir,
it.
right now, when you explained derivative, whatever it's called, and the other one, the one just this girl asked x equals -b over 2a. I think, Mr. The one she explained, she's also easier. Mr. The one, the last one, it's easier.
This one, yeah, this is easy, but you can't
You
forget.
said, Mr. How will we forget? You said, sir, in SAT you have less time, so in less amount of time, sir, so that one will be easier to solve, isn't it?
But I mean, the answers can be I mean confusing. If you use derivative, if you use this method, it will be much maybe better for you.
Teacher, I didn't
Because-
understand the simple way. I know the formula, but the simple way I got confused. I don't understand it.
This one?
No, not that. I know that one. The other one,
Derivative.
the one that you said is more simple.
That's complicated one.
That's complicated one.
Oh, it's easy. Come on.
You said that simple one.
No, this is
that's a
simple one. This
complicated
is-
one.
Okay, how do you do that? I didn't
How
understand.
do I do that? Wait, I think. Sorry.
Because I
I
have
make it complete
always
square.
done the formula. That's where I got confused.
Okay, I will go much faster here. Okay, so I will take 4 as common, so it will be x squared plus 2x plus 1. So it will be 4x plus 1 all squared. Make it equal to 0. X will be minus 1. Then put minus 1 here. Then you'll find the same thing. That's third way.
But-
The third
but-
way,
This can't be always like this.
Okay, I got
I mean, the books explain like this. Okay, I think this way, the derivative method works all the time. Okay, all the time.
Yeah.
First method,
Yeah.
and this is a second method.
So,
Yeah,
sir,
it's
what are
Moib's
the other
invention of
uses
curve.
of derivative in SAT?
No, you're not going to use derivative. Okay? There's no derivative question.
Then why
No,
we
sir,
are
the usage of derivative in SAT.
But an SAT level 2, yes.
We use derivative within the questions, isn't it?
Yes, to make it zero. Sorry, make it easy for
And
yourself.
that's to find the vertex, right?
Yes.
Just to find the vertex.
Yeah, the vertex. Okay, I mean,
Allah.
I have a question. How do you take a derivative if there's all squared in an equation? Do we have to open it first, or can we just do it?
something like this, you mean? X plus 1 all squared?
Yeah. How do we take a derivative of that without
It is the
opening it?
same.
Is that
It
possible?
is the same. Yeah. Take,
Okay.
first you must open
assume, what?
first you must
Assume this
open
is u, okay? This is u. Put here u. If u is equal to u squared, so
Two.
derivative of fu will be 2u. Am I right?
2x plus 2.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
The derivative of f you will be to you. Mr. Nice.
Fu, yes.
Mister, can you use another example? Instead of you can use n, Mister, or x, fx. Come on, sir. You're saying if you will go to 2u?
Okay, now.
Come on, Mister, what the hell? Sir,
Now.
Sir,
So
that's
do
not
you
good.
have, we will solve some question about vertex and also finding the roots, summation of the roots, multiplication of the roots. You'll understand much better that. And now you'll talk about discriminant. Discriminant is much more important than vertex. You have to understand much better than vertex. I mean, if you understand discriminant, you'll understand vertex. So the discriminant is father of vertex. Discriminant. Okay. Wait. I'm sorry. Discriminant. What does discriminant mean?
Mother, father of vertex.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, as we discussed, if we have a parabola like this, these two intersections are the roots of this parabola. Okay, the roots means the intersection with x-axis. Okay, sometimes it can be hard to find the roots. For example, if we have a function like this, fx is equal to 9x squared plus 20x plus, not plus, maybe minus 15. Okay, so it's a bit hard to factorize it and also make it a complete square, then find the roots. It's a bit hard. Okay, we have another way to find x1 and x2. How? First, let me write it here as general formula. Fx is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. So as you let me write it here. This is x1. This is x2. Okay. Delta is equals to delta is a arbitrary name. Okay, let's say arbitrary name. Okay. Delta is equals to b squared minus 4ac. This is important and you should memorize them. Delta is equals to b squared. B is the coefficient of x. A is the coefficient of x squared. Always. This is not changing. This is a constant. And c is constant. Okay. So when you find delta here, let's find delta here. Delta is equals to, what is b? B is 10, right? Sorry, 20. I got 20 here. 20. Okay. Delta is equals to 20 squared. 20 squared minus 4 times, what's a? 9. What is c? Minus 15. Okay. So that way you'll find delta. Delta is equals to, delta will be what? Can you calculate this for me, please? This is 400 plus, so it will be 60 times 9, 400 plus 540, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be 940. Okay. Then we will use delta to find x1 and x2. How? Here's how. X1 will be equals to minus b plus root of delta over 2a. This is formula, okay? And x2 is equals to minus b minus delta root of delta over 2a. The only difference between them, between x1 and x2, is that this is minus and this is positive and this is plus. Okay, the only difference. So when you find delta, you put it here, then you know minus, you know b, you know a, which is given here, you put it here, and you find x1 and x2, or the position of the intersection with x-axis. These ones, I mean, this one. So that is all about delta. This is introduction with delta. We call this discriminant. Okay, discriminant is equals to delta, or delta is equals to discriminant. So if our delta, do you have any question here? I'm going to clean it. Any question? Can you unmute all of them, please, for me?
Are the questions needed to use this usually in the calculator section?
What?
Are they usually? Who's not muted?
I'm not getting your question.
Okay.
I'm not following.
The questions that usually use this, is it on the calculator section or on the normal section of
So
the stat exam?
if the numbers are good, I mean, if the delta will be something like this. If you found delta is equals to 9, delta, if you find delta is equals to 4, you can easily take the square root of this, right? Which is 3, which is 2. Then it means you do not need to have any calculator. But if the delta is something like this, for example, delta is equals to 30, so you have to use calculator. So it will be in calculator section.
Okay, so it depends on numbers.
Yeah, it depends on numbers. If the numbers are beautiful, good numbers, like 9, 4, 25, 36. So you know them. You know the square root of those numbers. That way you can find the delta and also x1 and x2. Any more questions?
So finally we have two answers.
Yeah. I mean, two answers means. Can you mute it, please?
Teacher, the frequency is bad.
Guys, mute.
Okay. When you find two answers, then it means you have two intersection with them. When you find one answer, then it means you have one intersection. I will
Can you
explain.
show it on the? Can you show it on this graph you just labeled x2 and x1? How will we
Yeah.
get two intersection?
I will explain. Do you have any question until here?
No, sir. Thank you.
No. Anyone know? No one. Okay.
Teacher, I didn't understand.
Understand what?
Nothing.
That's
I mean,
clear.
how we find x1 and x2?
This is formula. Okay. This is formula. You know how to find delta. Delta is found like this, right?
Yeah.
When you find delta, you put it here in this formula. So formula is x1 is equals to minus b plus root of delta over 2a. This is a formula. You have to memorize them. The formula is the same. You just put the numbers. You put b, you put delta, you put a in here, you find x1. Then you put b here, you put delta here, you put a here again. This is a. Then you find x2. That's it. This is a formula. You put the delta, number of delta, the value of delta, and also value of b, value of a. You find x1 and x2. That's it. Did you understand now?
Yeah, but can we have another question or example?
Of course. We will have more examples after finishing all these introductions. Okay.
Okay.
No more questions? I'm waiting.
Guys, ask question, please.
Okay,
If there's no question,
let's move on. We know what delta is. We know how to find x1 and x2. Now, let's focus on delta now, okay? Let's draw a xy plane here. No. This is x-axis. This is x-axis. This is y-axis.
sir, do you hear me?
Yeah, I do. Now, mute it, please. Okay. If delta, as you know, delta is equal to b squared minus 4ac. It is formula, okay? You put the value of b, value of a, value of c, you find delta. If,
Sir, I got kicked out of Discord. Why?
because you speak a lot.
No, Mister. Like, why does it have to do with the speaking, Mister? I got like the app just what's it called? Crashed itself.
So it's problem with your phone. How should I know?
Okay, thank you.
If delta, if you found the value of delta, if delta is bigger than 0, then it means you have two intersections. It means you have x1 and you have x2. Okay. But if you found the value of delta 0, if delta is equal to 0, then it means you have only one x. You have one intersection. You have only x1. You don't have x2. Only x1. And if delta is smaller than 0, if it's negative number, then it means you don't have any intersection. Then it means there's no x. Let's mark it like this. There's no x. There's no x. Okay. So if delta is bigger than 0, we will have a graph like this. Can you close your microphone, please? You will have a graph like this. It means you have two intersections. x1, this one, and x2. Doesn't matter the place. You have two intersections. If delta is bigger than 0, you'll have a shape like this. It means you have two intersections with x-axis. But if delta is 0, then it means you have a graph like this, meaning you have one intersection. It means you have only one x, which is x1, or you have something like this, or you have something like this. One intersection. This is one intersection. Okay, only one x. But if delta is smaller than 0, then it means we don't have an intersection with we don't have an intersection with x-axis. Our graph will be like this, or something like this. Then it means we don't have intersection, we don't have any axis, then it means we don't have any roots. If we have that situation, then it means delta is smaller than 0. Okay, no intersection means delta is smaller than 0. One intersection, then it means delta is 0. If you have two intersection, then it means delta is bigger than 0. Okay, any question here? No?
Teacher, I want to ask something.
Yeah, sure.
Like when we add something to the function, like you say, it goes up or it goes down. Like,
Yes.
does it make delta bigger than 0 or like
Yeah, of course,
smaller than?
it does. For example, if you have a function like this, if you move it downwards, so it will be something like this, right? It does make a difference. So you'll have two roots here, one here, one here. So if you move it up or downward, so it does make a difference. So I will explain that. How, like if you put value inside x, so it will be something like this, or if you subtract it to something like this, or I will show you how to move it up or downward. I will show you, okay, how to add them, how to add numbers and how to move it up or down or left or right. I will explain about that. Any question now here until now? No? No one?
No,
Okay, I will
sir.
clean it. If you want, we can have 10-minute break.
Okay.
Let's vote.
Yes, sir.
Who says
That's
yes?
the best thing.
Who says yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes,
we have
sir.
10-minute break.
Please.
I say no.
Thank you, sir. No, sir. Yes.
Who said no?
I said no. Let's have no break.
Raise your hands.
Bro, you in the school, you also you have no break. Just continue. Your life just continues.
Okay, we have 10-minute break. I'll be
Thank you,
back.
sir.
Should we leave now?
05. I'll be back at this time, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Should we leave too?
I mean 10-minute break, and then I will come back.
Should we leave too?
It's up to
Yeah.
you.
Why are you asking so silly questions? Just leave.
Huh?
Just leave. Why are you asking so silly
Whatever
questions?
you want.
Bro, these are the
Yeah.
questions in my mind.
Yeah, like.
If you want, stay
Hey, Ahmed.
for a while. Let's leave.
Fazan.
Guys, let's go to the room.
Right.
Guys,
Fazat.
for 9
Yeah.
p.m. today.
چه خبر؟
That's the خبر.
بی‌تربیت. رفتین؟
کجا رفتن؟ با همه دارن یکی یکی دارن میرن دیگه.
نه تو بمون